This is Dungeon Not Included, the actual play podcast for the adventurous listener. All right, we're back, and because of these things, it's another sick day. And these things, I'm pointing at my hat for those of you listening to the podcast who are even more frustrated by than normal with us. Currently, we are attempting to decide whether we need to start this episode of Pasión de las Pasiones with de las Pasiones with a last time on, right?
That's correct, which is how you normally start a new episode. And it is kind of implied by the way the last time on rules work that you are skipping a couple of episodes in between.
Yeah,
it seems like.
So one of the debates we had just before we wised up and hit record on this actual play podcast was it might be fun to deliberate on what that means. So
right,
and I'm pretty new on this, right? But
yeah, me too. So
I think
so.
Go ahead. Yeah, recap what you were talking about, Rebel. Sorry.
Right now, like where Federico's at is that, you know, he's just been extremely slighted by Octavia. He's got all this momentum headed towards, you know, doing something to her, confronting her. And so I feel like if we do a time skip, it shouldn't be that far into the future, because then I, Rebel, the player, am a little lost in the weeds on what Federico is going to do next.
Okay.
That does make a lot of sense. I just want to make my, not even counter argument. It's because I don't really have an opinion one way or other it goes, but it's something that just dawned on me when I'm looking at this.
Mm-hmm.
And what could be really fun about playing this game is we can turn last time on, because right now I don't really see the purpose of it other than to just cross off a few things. But we can make it so that at this point in the game, we as players are like the writer's room of a soap opera, where we actually just say what happened with. So, for example, I'm just going to take a peek at, I don't want to take your sheet. I'm going to look at Brutus. Or actually, no, Cesar, I'm going to borrow something from yours if you're okay.
Go for it.
What's the one you received? There was one where you almost died. You fought with your twin. Yeah, that one.
Yep.
You fought with your twin, and one of you is nearly died. So, like in a traditional game, when the narrative is like A to B, and every episode of a role playing game you play pushes the story forward, you don't want to jump that far ahead where Brutus and Cesar have their physical conflict after the smoke has cleared because the casting was ruined and the show is off the air. Like normally you wouldn't want to do that. You want to have it like in sequential order. But if we wanted, we could take this opportunity to say, okay, Cesar eventually shows up to casting, finds out it was all a ruse, gets into a fight with Brutus, and the both of them started beating up each other, and that's how that whole storyline resolves. So you could actually you can skip ahead and tell us that Federico you can tell me by crossing off something on the sheet, that's how you got your revenge. And I know it doesn't seem perfectly satisfying. I'm still playing with it in my head, but I do like the idea that the game can do that. What we decide is up to us. Sorry, Alex, go ahead.
No worries. I just want to throw out there too that unless I'm interpreting that, or maybe I'm just the one who's maybe I'm misunderstanding. I assumed that this was a game similar to, say, like Monster of the Week, which can be played as episodic or campaign. And these episodes previously on are if you are continuing a season as a campaign. So I don't know if these are supposed to be played at the end of each episode, or if this is how you start the next one in the same way the way you start a new mystery in Monster of the Week. Because all of these things here are great if you are starting a brand new story, because otherwise you have to be molding your story to end on everybody here hitting one of these things for it to make sense. Does that make sense?
I actually think so how I interpret the last time on isn't necessarily about what happened in the last session. It's about what happened on a previous episode of the show. So
yes,
like
I agree.
For example, a lot of soap operas run for like dozens of seasons.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. So, if you're just hopping on and like suddenly like let's say Cesar is like, finally, Brutus, I've cornered you. Now I'll get my revenge for that time that you tried to murder me. You're like, hold on, wait a minute. Brutus tried to murder Cesar?
Yeah, when that happened?
Yeah.
The last time on is to preview that in this episode, this thing that happened previously is going to come up again. So
yes.
I like that.
It's less like this thing actually happened in a previous session that we played out, and more like this is the story beat that we're bringing up this episode. So here's all the backstory for it, right? So
yeah, and I think Rebel has got it more.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
What it is.
Yeah. So the time for the example we keep hitting on, Cesar and Brutus fought would have happened way in the past before we started playing this game effectively.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Got it. That's cool. Yeah, that makes more sense.
It's more of a previously on than a last time on.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm a little disappointed that my way of playing isn't expressed this way, but like it does make more sense that way. But I kind of like the idea. I guess if it were like a really, really beer and pretzels game you were playing with your friends and you wanted no consistency, you're like, I don't care. Like I'm not going to take notes, right? Then that might be a fun way of adapting it, saying, all right, so I don't remember what happened last time, but clearly there was somebody try to kill themselves, kill their twin. But yeah, Rebel has it, I think, right. Cool. All right.
Okay. So we're going to be starting episode 2, which means we do need to do one of these last time ons for each character.
Not episode 2 of this podcast series, episode 2
of
fictional show.
Fictional show.
Yeah.
Listeners are punching a wall going, what is happening?
So do you all have one that you're interested in?
I think so. I have one.
How about you, Rebel?
I mean, like, honestly, I'm probably just gonna like tie it into previous sessions because that's where Federico's at, I think.
Okay, cool. All right. So we'll start with Octavia.
Oh, okay. I am picking last time on Unconventional Romance. Octavia manipulated her name onto a lease, contract, or deed. So it's a scene where you see that some like an old confused man is just sort of signing off the lease and like, and why exactly do you want this ridiculous plot of land? It's functionally useless for anybody. And she's like sort of stickers to herself, well, to anyone but me. And as you look at the paperwork on her big sprawling beautiful desk, it is there's a picture of a set piece, like a physical setting, like a set location that is where they filmed a good amount of, what was that show called? The Dogs and the what?
The Rebels and the Dogs.
The Rebels and the Dogs. So like a famous stretch of beach that they will later on use quite often in the production.
Nice. All right. Cesar.
Yes. So I think that for this one, I believe that at some point, I received a large sum of money from a mysterious benefactor. If they're gonna flash back to me receiving the money, and now I think the big thing is, as we've seen so far, my character does dress pretty nice, but he's always been kind of played like kind of a slouch. Like he's kind of a scummy character. So I like the idea that he is absurdly rich and nobody knows it, and he just plays it off like he is like always down on his luck, and his brother's got everything so much better than him, and so on. But he actually has no real problems.
I love that because it implies that the audience of our show knew this, but we as player characters just found out.
Yeah.
Like
He's absurdly wealthy, and we don't know from where or why.
Cool. All right. And neither does he.
No, it's mysterious. Yes.
Federico.
Yeah, I gotta go with you swore to take revenge against someone important. Yeah, you see, like, after Federico is escorted out by security guards that he doesn't have in his pocket, he takes out the flyer for the event that Octavia took over, and it has her face like plastered on it, and he crumples it in his hand and he says, "Your comeuppance is at hand."
Excellent.
There are many things I love about that. One, that you decided that Octavia wore her face front and center on the flyer. That she has nothing to do with the show. But it's the pettiness of that, and then the comeuppance. I love it.
Yeah, like
So
obviously I need to have an image of Octavia that I can see that. So it has to be on the flyer for the event that she stole from me.
Yes,
absolutely. And it feels very, very con organizer to have the flyer.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right. So for our first scene, do you want to set a scene, Federico, for your upcoming revenge?
Yeah. So Federico's first step in getting revenge against Octavia is, of course, to find her personal planner. He knows that she's very well organized. He knows that she's got to have like a Google Calendar or something, and he needs to hack into it, which means he's going to need some help. So he will call on one of his goons to assist him, who is very tech savvy. Sorry, I just have to make up a name for this goon.
Yep.
Maya. Maya is very tech savvy.
And so in the scene with Maya, what are you instructing her to do?
I say to Maya,
she's at the computer and you're leaning over her shoulder.
It's like in a dark room, right? Yes. To imply that we're doing this in secret, even though I don't know where you'd find a dark room to have one computer in a convention center, but it's happening.
The anime room.
Yeah, it's the anime room, and we're just in the back, and in the background, you hear muffled anime noises.
So good.
Maya's like dressed like a hacker from a bad sci-fi movie, you know?
Yeah, she's got like a hoodie with the hood pulled up.
Right, exactly. And
she's like, what do you need me to do?
All right. I know Octavia has an electronic planner of some sort, and I need you to give me full access to it, untraceable.
Okay. Here's what I think this is.
Mm-hmm.
Planner. I think you're about to reveal secrets, right?
I think so. That makes sense.
So one of the moves is reveal a shocking truth.
Okay. That's definitely what's happening here.
So this has to happen when you're confronting Octavia with the truth. So maybe this is more of a flashback to preparations.
Or spot something out of place? Oh, no, that's a social interaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flashback to preparations. This is basically one of the things you can choose to do with a flashback to preparations is fabricating evidence against someone.
Like fake evidence or good evidence?
Or you could even like have Maya insert something into the schedule that is damning. Or you can also arrange for someone to be in the right place at the right time or stow away something hidden.
This is what happens if you flash back to preparation.
Yeah.
So. Okay, then I don't want to do this scene. Instead, what I want to do is I want to have a scene. So instead of me and Maya, it's going to be Julio and Camila are going to go to Cesar. And they are going to say, Sir, Federico would like to have a word with you.
Are you sure you want to have a word with me? You're not looking for my brother?
No. You are Cesar, yes?
Oh yeah, the up and coming star of the rogues and the rebels and the dogs. Yeah, that's me.
Yes. Definitely. He specifically requested Cesar.
Oh, well, who am I to keep a fan waiting?
So what's Federico's office look like?
He has a very pristine office. It's one of the you know how they have like a conference rooms in convention centers? It's one of the like closed ones that only fit like 6 people. So it's very intimate. And it's immaculate. Like every picture frame is leveled with a leveler. Every
I like that he put up pictures in the conference center.
Yeah,
I love how much of the show is what like young people putting on a convention would think was cool. I love it.
Yeah. No, like he's the kind of guy who like has his pens lined up on a desk, and if they get out of alignment, he straightens them. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So Cesar is brought in. Do your goons stay or do they leave?
No, they leave.
Okay.
There's not even one posted at the door.
Right. Go ahead,
Federico. It's been a while. How are we doing?
I'm well, Cesar. Thank you for agreeing to come.
Of course. I'd do anything for a fan.
Please have a seat. And Federico gestures to a chair.
Cesar takes a seat and puts his feet up on his desk.
Federico leans forward, elbows on the desk, and steeples his fingers and says, Cesar, may I ask, when did you learn of your future role in Rebels and the Dogs?
I mean, I think that I was pretty much born for the role, so you could say for the last 30 so years. But I only recently found out about my contracted work just on stage a little while ago. Octavia was I was lucky enough, blessed enough to have Octavia be the one to share that news with me.
I see. And he pauses for a second, and he actually reaches out a hand, like to like in a gesture of empathy, and says, Cesar, I hate to be the one to have to tell you this, but Octavia has not done anything to get you onto the show, and the writers did not approach her about it.
Well, that doesn't make any sense. Why would Octavia say that then if that wasn't the case?
Because she desperately wants you on the show, but she doesn't have the power to make it happen.
Cesar wipes his hand across the desk and tosses the papers that are on there into the air. You lie!
Ooh, okay. So, is this a shocking truth that you're revealing to Cesar?
I believe
am.
so.
Yeah, and I would like to do the flashback to preparations to.
Yes, absolutely. All right. So when we flash back to preparations, we see you with Maya there.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have plenty of time to do this?
Yes, definitely. I took my time in planning this talk with Cesar.
Okay. And did you have someone looking out for trouble?
I can't say that I specifically thought of that, so I'm not going to say no.
Okay. So roll +1.
Okay. That is a 9.
Okay. So you get to choose one, but you either have to mark a condition, or I will give you a worse outcome or hard bargain.
Okay. So when you say worse outcome or hard bargain, what would that entail exactly?
It might entail that Octavia actually did do something.
So here's the evidence that I want to show Cesar. I want to show that Octavia had sent like multiple petitions to introduce this character in the next season and to have Cesar play that character, and they were denied, right? So
yeah, so do you want to mark a condition then instead? Because you can totally have that if you mark a condition.
Yeah, I think, let me see how many conditions I have.
I don't know.
Yes, I will mark a condition, and I'm going to mark dogged.
Oh yeah, that totally makes sense.
Which gives me a +1 to face death, but a -2 to accuse.
Okay. So but this is revealing a shocking truth. So you have the evidence.
I do have the evidence.
So when you're revealing the shocking truth, you roll plus your conditions.
Okay. Do I want high or low?
You want high, I believe.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah, it's just like a regular roll.
All right. So that's a +3. So, oh, sorry. I forgot to clear, but it's the 2 and the 6. So that's 8 + 3 puts me at an 11.
Nice. Choose 2 things. 1, you have unequivocal evidence that this is true. 2, the shocking truth gives you rightful claim to something that the person values. Or 3, you introduce a shocking new character who has your back. You can choose 2 of those things.
I will choose that I have the evidence, because I do.
Yes.
And I will also choose a new character, a shocking character who has my back. And I mean, I'm going to ask Alex, But do you think Cesar has Federico's back in this now?
I think that I would say that if we were playing a full long campaign, no, I feel like we would do it. But since this is a one shot, sure. Like
Okay.
I will join you in going after Octavia. If this is something we were doing for a while, I would give Octavia the benefit of the doubt, and we could have all of that. But let's do this. I am now on your side.
Federico.
I just wanted to say real quick, I 100% thought Rebel was going to be like, and the surprising new character is Alex. Do you mind if you're a triplet? Too bad.
No. Because it's a player character, I wanted to make sure that you're okay with this direction for your character. But I do think like the point of this was to get Cesar to realize that Octavia manipulated him as much as he manipulated the fans, right?
Yes.
Right. So Cesar, you are staggered by this revelation.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't believe this. This can't be.
I've known this for quite a while now, but Octavia will stop at nothing to get what she wants, even if it hurts the people that she's doing it for. And it's not fair to you. And I don't think that you should have to be in the dark any longer.
Thank you for bringing me into the light.
What you do with this information is up to you, but you had a right to know.
Oh.
All right.
I have plans. I have an idea of what I'm gonna do. Octavia is gonna rue the day that she tried to manipulate me.
And I want to say that as Cesar, would you say that you storm out?
Oh, I do. I stand up really quick and the chair flies backwards, and I swing the door open. I say that bit, and then I slam the door shut behind me as I leave.
And as Cesar leaves, Federico's empathetic expression changes to a devilish smile.
Absolutely. All right. So when you reveal a shocking truth, one of the things you do have to do is mark a condition. So all your conditions are now marked, Federico.
Yes.
So if you have to mark another condition before you can clear some of those, you will go into meltdown.
Okay. How do you clear conditions?
You need people to help you to do that.
Okay. Real quick.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is something I can do now, but I would like to use one of my moves that I think will be very good for this scene. If everyone's okay on board with it.
Uh-huh.
One of my moves is called That Wasn't Me, which is when someone sets up a scene with you or your twin, you can mark a condition to switch who it really was. And that would have been Brutus, who now knows and acted as me, who now has the information that I'm not actually on the show.
I think that sounds awesome.
That does sound awesome.
That's pretty good. I like it.
Are we okay with that?
Amazing.
Because I think that would be even better to have now Brutus have this information to potentially crush his brother.
Yes.
And also potentially Brutus.
Either way.
And you could have Brutus leverage the information against Octavia.
That's
right?
so good.
Okay.
This is amazing. Yes. I don't want to do anything in this episode. I think we're done. I think this is it. This is the end of this episode.
I mean, it's been 30 minutes. So.
Yeah.
So, yes.
No, it works too well. I think we end here, and then we'll and then run another episode for the next time one of us gets sick. Pray for it. No, that's
no, please don't. That would be
fair. Pray for us to have like a free getaway vacation that's mandatory. We had to take it. That's a nice thing. Yeah. Also sounds a little suspicious, actually.
Yes. Free mandatory vacation. Nothing untoward will happen on this vacation. And you're invited.
But it's mandatory.
But it's mandatory.
Hey there, we hope you enjoyed this episode of Dungeon Not Included. If you did, please tell a friend and leave us a 5-star review and encouraging comments on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever you get your podcasts. It really does help spread the word for new shows like ours. You can follow the latest from the Dungeon Not Included crew on Twitter at DNI Crew, and over at Facebook at Dungeon Not Included, or at our home on the Non-Productive Network at non-productive.com/DNI Crew, where you can find articles, character sheets, and Patreon exclusives, as well as our latest episodes. Thanks!
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit non-productive.com.